Hey, Steve Mignonti here in a private physical therapy clinic because I got encephalitis back in September and haven't been able to do new videos for the Junkyard Crawl. But in the meantime, we figure something's better than nothing. And a lot of people don't realize that we've got something like 330 videos in the channel playlist for the Steve Mignonti YouTube channel. So if you're having withdrawal from no new videos, you can actually check out some of the classics that you might not have seen before. And in the meantime, before we get rolling with this, we're going to run a bunch of heavy-duty truck videos in a string of maybe 10 of them. So every day you'll get a good fix of Mack trucks, Diamond T's, Rios, Peterbilts. Well, no Peterbilts, actually. Those are a little too big for the junkyard. But basically Ford and GMC, even Toro Flow V6 diesels. Crazy stuff. So we're going to run those things in the next several days. So please stay tuned to the Steve Mag's YouTube channel. By all means, give us a thumbs up. And quickly, I want to thank Rick DeBrule and Tyler Hoover for keeping the channel alive in December and January and really stepping up. So thanks, guys. Well, roll the tape. Steve Mignonti here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with a 1984 GMC 6000 dump truck. Now, we all know where passenger cars come from. Assembly lines. We've seen the pictures, lines of cars, different color, but kind of all the same. Well, how about dump trucks? Are these things built as dump trucks by General Motors? Well, we got to dig in to find out. Now, this one again is a 1984. This body style arrived in 1973. And basically was used for many, many years with minimal changes. You gotta love this tough facade, plastic grille by this point in time, but the GMC logo loud and proud. And under the hood, okay, this one, it's a 350. It's a small block V8. This could have had a big block as an option, but again, being a truck, probably a 5-tonner. Look at the massive diaphragm on the power brake booster. And this does have disc brakes up front, which you think is, no way, disc brakes are for cars, but here they are, right here. If we look through the spokes of the Bud style wheels on the front, there's the caliper. And big old disc brakes on the front of this monster truck right here. And again, it's a GMC 6000 in Chevy land. This would be called a C60, but GMC added 2 zeros to make it all that much cooler. And GMC, generally speaking, they call them professional grade trucks. And it is true that Chevy and GMC vehicles are largely similar, but there are differences in spring rates and certain other small details that do separate them. Otherwise, they're kind of the same truck. But if we look inside, we're going to get back to that cab and chassis. And where do trucks come from? Well, this was born originally as what they call a cab and chassis. Now, if we look around down here on the bottom right, that sticker right there, it says, this chassis cab conforms to federal motor vehicle safety standards, numbers, this, that, and the other thing. This vehicle will conform, this, that, and the other. So this truck rolled off the assembly line without the dump body. To learn where the body came from, we look at the second sticker in there. M&M Equipment, and we can see this truck arrived, or was built, I should say, by General Motors in January of 1984, but 2 months later, in March 3 of 84, it went to M&M Equipment to become fully equipped. So M&M has to certify their work, General Motors has to certify their work, and that sticker makes this truck legal for registration and use on public roads. So dump trucks like this are born in 2 factories, so to speak. Now, the funny thing about this truck is that this is a steel nose truck with a conventional alligator style hood. But if we look behind us, here is another GMC or Chevrolet truck. Similar, right? Same truck, right? Well, no, this is actually a tilt nose fiberglass type arrangement. So both configurations were possible from the factory if you chose either the fiberglass or the bolt-on. Now, something about GMC and Chevrolet full-sized heavy-duty trucks is that while the cab is very much the same, or similar at least, to like a half-ton or a 3/4-ton pickup truck, the fenders and the cowl are very different. Now, if you look over here, this is a truck front fender, and we notice that it has this built-in cowl extension right here. That's something, and of course the kickouts for the wider front wheel. This is something that's very different. Meanwhile, the doors are the same as a pickup truck, but again, the front clip is very specific to a heavy-duty truck. But again, the cab from the firewall back, you can adapt that to a pickup truck. And the good news about trucks like this is the cab sits about 1.5 feet farther away from the road than it does on a pickup truck, so the salt and the corrosion generally are kept at bay. Now, there's something on a pickup truck and a full-size truck called a SPID, or the Specifications Identification Decal. I'll meet you on the other side, Shane. This one has 2 SPID stickers. So let's take a peek and do some decoding. And these are kind of fascinating. If you look right in here, let's read these things line by line. It's kind of cool. Okay, we have tire tread, interior trim, speedometer driven gear, front shaft, speedo adapters, rear torque rods. Okay, rear torque rods. That's typically found on a dump truck to control axle movement. Let's see what else we got. Anything cool here? Axle, okay, yokes over here. It's just kind of cool. Tire brand special. Intermediate shaft hangers, so that would be for the drive shaft in the back. Rear shaft main, front torque rods. Pretty cool. I mean, all these little tiny details right here. Oil fastener hangers. On this one here, we have tinted glass, mirrors, 137-inch wheelbase, frame reinforcement. That's for the dump truck bed or body. Front springs are 9,000 pounders. Rear axles, a GMC 150/150. Brake booster, dual power. Engine governor, 3,800 RPM. You don't need to make any more RPMs with that 350. Why bother? Generator, Delcotron. Transmission, the Allison automatic. Clutch delete process. Look at this, clutch delete process, because it's an automatic. Exhaust system, single. So there you have it, no duals. You could get them. Power steering, disc wheels, speedometer cable length, battery, deluxe engine fan, Eaton, engine update after. So what does that mean? I don't know. Interesting stuff though. Special identification process, interior trim, and just all kinds of cool stuff. Front axle and engine, a V6, or it's a V8 5.7, yeah, 350. Pilot shaft, automatic. Emissions, discs, wheels, radio, push button, GVW rating. So it's cool, man. A 2-SPID dump truck. And again, speaking of that automatic, this is the shifter right here for that Allison automatic. Now, Allison, of course, is General Motors division, and they made transmissions. And here it is right here, the Allison 4-speed automatic. And I love this stand-up kind of shifter right here. Pretty cool stuff. And again, this truck was born, we don't see on this, cigar lighter. Well, as a result, there's a button right here. Yep, you didn't pay for the cigarette lighter, you don't get it. You get a button to delete the hole. So it's kind of kinky. And again, the clutch pedal omits. Well, this one is a automatic, so there's one pedal down here. So, but beyond all that stuff, this cab largely could be adapted to a half-ton. The only other thing about this, though, is the rear windows on these heavy-duty trucks generally are very smaller than a Chevrolet half-ton pickup truck, which have a full-size window. So if you don't mind the small window, this cab could be adapted to a half-ton or a 3/4-ton restoration or rebuild. But so now we know the answer. Where do dump trucks come from? Well, they don't come right from the factory. They always make a little pit stop to an installer. And in fact, M&M Equipment is one of probably hundreds of dump truck manufacturers located throughout the country that are regional places that make these cab and chassis complete into stake beds, dump trucks, tow trucks, you name it. So anyway, that's the story of this 1984 GMC 6000 5-ton dump truck, a product of M&M and General Motors all at once. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Steve Baggs' YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow with more Junkyard Crawl.